Special Sports Station.
Tonight, the stretch drive to Calgary begins. Mike Richter, Corey Millen, Peter Laviolette, Scott Fusco, Scott Young, Captain Brian Lee, Chris Terreri. These are just some of the players Coach Dave Peterson will count on when the Olympic Games begin next month. The goaltending has been strong, with Terreri showing lightning reflexes and frustrating the opposition. Mike Richter has been equally effective and is battling Terreri in a spirited fight for the #1 role. Team USA has also shown an ability to dominate physically, but their greatest asset is scoring. Here, Captain Leach starts off an offensive barrage against the Soviet selects. Another force has been Craig Janney, one of Team USA's top scorers, whose offensive prowess has led to multiple celebrations. North of the border, Team Canada has been triumphant in every major hockey tournament since September. Certainly the biggest surprise was their stirring victory at the Izvestia tournament in Moscow late last month. Canada was paced by goalie Sean Burke, regarded by some as a franchise netminder, and by Claude Vilgré, an opportunist and just one of the many forces that has fans in Canada cheering as well. Tonight, from Bloomington, Minnesota, Freedom Sports Network presents Team USA against Team Canada. We're at the Met Center in Bloomington, just outside Minneapolis. Last night, National Hockey League action in this building. The Minnesota North Stars against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And tonight, another form of international competition, the U.S. team against Canada. I'm Al Michaels, along with Bill Clement. And the Olympic Games begin in just 30 days in Calgary, Alberta. These two teams are going there. They will be in opposite brackets. And as these two teams come up to the 1988 Winter Olympics, they have taken vastly different roads to get there, Bill.
They sure have. And as a result, a great debate seems to be mounting as to which team has taken the best road. And we're talking about the level of competition that each has faced. Canada decided to line up a lot of real strong international competition to prepare them for the Olympics. The United States decided to go with a little softer schedule. They have played a lot of U.S. colleges and have not lost to U.S. colleges. As a result, they have a lot of positive reinforcement, a lot of success. And, you know, no one really has the answer. We're going to have to wait and see just how it stacks up for the Olympics.
Let's take a look at the breakdown, not necessarily in any chronological order, but there's the overall USA mark, 33-13-5, which is impressive. Against NHL and international competition, they are 2 over 500. They have dominated the colleges, winning 18 of 19 with 1 tie, and in the recent tour against a Soviet select team, which is not the same team, of course, that will be in Calgary, they were 6-1-1. And so now we come to the final phase as the team gets keyed up and ready for Calgary. And naturally, with 30 days to go, we've got some sidebars to talk about. And I think the most interesting individual story would deal with who will be the United States #1 goalie. And I think we may get a pretty good idea in the next 4 or 5 days as to who that fellow might be.
I think so, too. Dave Peterson is faced with a situation where he has 2 players running neck and neck for the #1 goaltending position. Chris Terreri out of Providence by way of the New Jersey Devils, and Mike Richter from the University of Wisconsin. Tonight we are going to see Richter. Saturday, we are going to see Chris Terreri in Detroit against this Team Canada. And as you mentioned earlier, Monday night, we're going to probably get some type of decision from Dave Peterson as to which one he will go with down the stretch.
That's right. Peterson telling us today whoever is the most impressive over the next 2 games will get the start against Team Canada in Maple Leaf Gardens on Monday. Now, as far as Canada is concerned, they also have 2 very good goaltenders, but the job appears to have been won by Sean Burke at this point.
I think he has been the most impressive of the 2, but Andy Moog out of the Edmonton Oilers, obviously an excellent goaltender. He would not have a couple of Stanley Cup rings if he was not. Dave King, unlike Dave Peterson, is going to go with 2 goalies, and he makes no bones about it. Both Sean Burke and Andy Moog will play in the Olympics. Andy Moog will play tonight.
Well, these two teams meeting here, and then we'll be with you from Detroit, from Joe Louis Arena in the Motor City on Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time as the United States takes on Team Canada. And tonight's game between Team USA and Team Canada from Bloomington, Minnesota is brought to you by Dodge Cars and Trucks. When you're looking for a great performance on road or off, it's got to be a Dodge. By Kmart, America's favorite store and proud sponsor of the 1988 USA hockey team. By Sure Antiperspirant. Get sure and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness. And by Dianetics, America's #1 self-help bestseller. Coming up, the face-off from Bloomington. Team USA against Team Canada.
Dodge Dakota 4x4. When you consider that it comes loaded with the best truck warranty on or off the road, more available payload than any competitive compact 4x4 in the country, and a fuel-injected V6 engine S10 and Ranger charge extra for, it's easy to see. Only one size 4x4 has it all. It's gotta be the mid-size Dodge Dakota.
Now get 7/7 financing or $770 cash on selected Dodge cars and
Bloomington, Minnesota tonight. They hope to have a crowd of about 10,000 looking on. There are your officials. The referee tonight is Chick Yackel. And the linesmen are Roger Gilbertson and K.C. Chermak. And the goalies, as we discussed during the open, Andy Moog, late of the Edmonton Oilers, is in the nets for the third consecutive game for Team Canada. So even though it appears Burke might have the upper hand, King wants to take a real good look at Moog at this point. And Mike Richter is in the nets for the United States. The statistics, Richter and Terreri, very, very similar. The two pretty much hand in hand, and as Bill's detailed at the top of the show, Dave Peterson would love to go in with one #1 netminder, whereas Dave King will probably be platooning in Calgary.
I'm wondering, Al, if Dave King's troops appreciate his decision to get them up at 5:30 this morning and fly them in here from Calgary. They did not arrive last night. Team USA has been sitting and waiting and resting. Dave Peterson's troops, there he is.
One thing Team USA is very grateful for is the opportunity to meet some top-level opposition at this point. Following the Soviet Selects Tour, most of the fellas went home for the holidays, came back out. They've been meeting college teams in early January, and now the stretch run to Calgary begins, and we should get a pretty good indication as to just how good Team USA is over the next few days. Here we go, the face-off tonight with Corey Millen, one of the two 1984 Olympians on this 88 squad, and Canada controls it from the opening face-off. Wally Schreiber is #7, and we'll identify some of the stars for you early on, and you can keep your eye on them as well. Corey Millen along with Scott Fusco, the only two 1984 Olympians on this 88 squad, and Millen has looked very, very good in pre-Olympic competition.
He's really picked the absolute perfect time to play the best hockey of his life. In the last 3 to 5 months, he has really been on top of his game, better than ever before.
Charlie Zalapsky shoots it in around the boards. Dave Peterson expected Team Canada to not necessarily dominate in the first shot, and a great save by Richter off the stick of Serge Boisvert. But Peterson feeling that since the tempo would be upbeat, more so in this game tonight as opposed to the college competition, that Team USA might come out a little sluggish tonight.
Here's a big save by Richter. A little bit of a defensive mix-up. You can see two USA defensemen at the top left of your screen. Two guys in white there. That left Serge Boisvert all alone in front. And Al, this is really the unanswered question for Dave Peterson's team. Great save by Richter. Is how they will react defensively. They have literally controlled the puck over the last 3 to 4 months with almost every bit of competition they have faced. They will not against Team Canada.
Busko is #9. He gets taken out of the play. And it's Berry who shoots it up ahead to center ice. George Shervin, #10. Scrapping for it in the corner along with Peter Laviolette. He has re-added a syllable. It's 4 syllables. Laviolette. U.S. tries to clear the zone, and they do, and the shot right in on the net, so there'll be no icing as Andy Moog has to clear it away. Now the Canadians try to work it back to the other end. And the U.S. doing a good job forechecking here. Trent Yawney. Up ahead to Craig Redmond. And Redmond shoots it in. Mike Richter leaving it for number 3, Greg Brown, the youngest player on the U.S. team. Now Bob Joyce. Joyce has been erratic of late. Out to the point, shot comes in, saved by Richter, and cleared out to center ice. Brown now in over the blue line. His shot is deflected into the corner. And Team Canada tries to come back. It's Greg Brown gaining control at center ice as the puck now loose and taken in by Bob Joyce. Team Canada adding a player for the game. Ken Duggan, a college player, in for a 3-game look-see. This is Kenya Rumchuk in behind the net. Running now. And he has it poked away by Craig Janney. Jeff Norton for the U.S. Janney now as the U.S. changes on the fly.
Al, you can see some of the problems already that Team USA is facing. It is when they are pressured in their zone, it's simply something that they are not used to, and they're going to have to get real accustomed to it in this 5-game series with Team Canada.
Now Leach's shot and a save by Moles. Brian Leach, number 2. The U.S. team captain. 17-14 to play in the first.
Kmart knows that 10 cents on a sink stopper isn't going to change your life. But add that 10 cents to the $15 you might save on a Garcia casting reel, to the $40 you might save on a Stanley garage door opener, to the $80 you might save on that Smith Corona typewriter, to the time you've saved by coming here first. And then you know why more people shop at Kmart than any other store. America's favorite store. Kmart, the saving place.
Take a look at the leading scorers now. With a month to go before the Olympics, Corey Millen with 37 goals and 71 points. And then Brian Leach. I guess if there's one number 1 star on the U.S. team, or the most heralded player, would be Leach, the great defenseman. Janney's had a good preseason build-up. And you saw Kevin Miller's name. Miller, however, is hurt. And it might be a week or 2 before he sees some more action. Rib injury occurred about a week ago in a game against the University of Minnesota Duluth. U.S. against Canada. Claude Gilgray, number 18 for the Canadian team. In over the blue line and taken out of the play. Gosselin scrapping for it along the boards. And a whistle, and we'll have a face-off with 17 minutes to play in a scoreless first period.
You know that Team Canada knows who number 4 Guy Gosselin is out of the University of Minnesota Duluth. I spoke to him after one of the games against the Soviet Selects because he is such a hitter. He's about 190 to 195, I guess, depending on how much he has sweated in a particular game. But he loves to hit, and I was curious as to whether or not he grew up as a hitter. I said, if you always liked to, and he got this real neat grin on his face, like he really enjoyed what he was doing, and said, you bet, I've been hitting since I can remember. And he really came onto this team, Al, as a long shot, but he has worked himself into a position where there's no way they could do without him at this stage.
And they have been pairing him with Brian Leach for the most part. Zalapski's shot is off the glove of Richter, and the rebound goes in. So Richter couldn't hold on, and Team Canada able to avail itself of the opportunity as Mark Habscheid, their leading scorer, puts it in. 3 minutes and 6 seconds into the game to make it 1-0 Canada.
And Habscheid really took advantage of the screen. See if Richter can tell what's going on. There goes Habscheid. Now Richter loses him for a second, and it's tough enough to stop anybody point blank, but Habscheid really came from behind a screen. As you mentioned, Richter wasn't able to control the first rebound, and by the time Habscheid got a little jump on him, it was too late. And Team Canada opens up a lead.
1-0 Canada. Trent Yawney in control of the puck. And shooting it into the U.S. end. Peter Laviolette scrapping for it. Now Millen tries to dig it out. Team Canada putting the pressure on, and the U.S. coming back now the other way, but taken away and kept in by Bradley. Out in front, Craig Redmond. So many of the Canadians with National Hockey League and professional experience. And of course, it's a different game in 1988 in the Olympics at Calgary, where the pros can play. 16-13 to play in the period. 1-0 Canada. Right back after this message.
5,000 now.
Resuming, and Lane McDonald carried the puck in and then lost control of it. It comes back outside the blue line, and the USA is offside. So Team Canada on top early in the first period in Bloomington, Minnesota, by a score of 1-0.
There's a look at Steve Leach that we're skating away from us. There are two Leaches on Team USA. One is L-E-E-T-C-H, and the other one is L-E-A-C-H. Steve Leach. There is Brian. Now I'm really confused as well. That is Brian, and you mentioned him as being one of the top players. He is something that has the New York Rangers organization drooling, waiting for him to get there, and it's important to note that he is 19. And you know, there's a big time to develop between the age of 19 and 22 or 23. So when you're a top player playing with 22, 23, and 24-year-olds, and you're only 19, you know you've got a great future ahead of you.
Serge Roy shooting it in, and it takes a very erratic hop off the boards and comes back, and Team USA able to clear it out of the zone. And then Jones has it taken away, and the shot comes in on Richter off the stick of Ken Berry, and back out towards center ice, where it's Janney. Janney tried to leave it for Jones, but it was taken away by Habscheid, and back come the Canadians. Habscheid can't control the back pass, and back come the Americans with Leach for Janney. Janney skates all the way in, runs out of an angle, and Moog makes the save.
I'm not sure if Janney, once he got this great pass from Brian Leach, wasn't looking around to pass, and when he realized he had nobody to pass to, watch him get it. He looks up. He looked in front briefly to pass and then said, I'm going for this one all by myself. But he had a pretty tough angle on Andy Moog. He really wasn't able to get in front. There's too much traffic for him. Right here is where he could have cut in front if that traffic wasn't there. So he ended up being at a sharp angle, and Andy Moog was able to channel him off.
Jim Johansson in on the face-off for the United States. This is Ronning now, back of his own net. And this game very much beginning in a fashion that was expected by Dave Peterson, in talking with us this morning, the fact that the U.S. was getting back into the higher level of competition. He expected Canada to pretty much dominate the early going. But here comes the U.S. now as Clark Donatelli comes in, and the shot goes wide off the stick of Scott Young. And back come the Canadians, and out in front on a breakaway is Ronning. Ronning missing. And the U.S. trying to clear it out.
Boy, he dinged it right off, high off the post. He even started to coast. He had that big a head start.
And the first penalty of the game coming up against Yaremchuk. So the U.S., which has been proficient on the power play, will get the first power play opportunity of the game.
Fancy perfuming aftershave. It's got to be a quarterback's locker. Real guys who get mud on their uniforms use rugged, honest stuff. Ice Blue Aqua Velva.
There's something about today's Aqua Velva, man.
So you still think linemen are dumb?
I'm gonna get away. I'm gonna go somewhere, relax, take it easy, you know?
Where do you want to go?
Bloomingdale's.
No matter why or when, Northwest can fly you to over 220 cities worldwide.
Well, number 13 for Team Canada, Ken Yaremchuk, has become a very familiar name to the Team USA players. Here he is called for high sticking, which will put Team USA on the power play. Just prior to that, Cliff Ronning's breakaway. Those posts are your best friends at times, and that time it was to Mike Richter.
Now the United States, a team which dominated the Soviet selects on the power play, and Dave Peterson felt that was the real difference in that recent series. Corey Millen gets dropped as he comes in. The Americans with a man advantage here. Leach out at the right point. He's Leach with it. Fusco. Saved by Moe. And Canada unable to clear it as Leach keeps it in. Now Fusco. And still kept in by Scott Young. The converted forward. Young, number 14. Out at the point. This is Young. Tony Granato to Leach. And back to Granato, who can't control it. He drops it behind for Okerlund. Corey Millen. 50 seconds remaining now in the penalty to Yaremchuk. shot. Young shot is wide. The Americans able to keep it in, but not getting off that many shots. And Canada still unable to clear the zone as Minn takes control of the puck. Minn shot, a save by Moe. So the Americans putting the pressure on. They have kept the puck in Canada territory for the entire 126 of the penalty thus far.
But you were right when you said they weren't getting any shots. This time Corey Minn does get a good shot away. Number 19 for Canada, Von Karpen, had turned away from him in a real crucial spot. But you know, looking at Team Canada's penalty killing, you can tell that they are coached by a very disciplined man, Dave King. And that's why Team USA was able to move it around, but finally only get the one good scoring opportunity because Team Canada failed to clear.
So we have 12:50 remaining in the first period and 34 seconds left in the penalty. Brown trying to get it to McDonald, and finally Canada able to clear the zone. Richter up ahead to McDonald, but he has to come back in behind his net. And only 13 seconds now left in the U.S. power play. Janney, the Boston College flash, number 15. And out in front, the puck slides by the crease, and Yaremchuk comes out of the penalty box. So the two teams are now at equal strength as the Americans try to keep the pressure on. Brown shooting it in, and it's blocked out in front. Janney can't control it, but it's picked up, a loose puck by McDonald, who tries to pass it behind to Johansson. And Canada able to take possession at least momentarily and clear the zone with under 12 minutes now to play in the period. Greg Brown, at the age of 19, the youngest player by 4 days on this U.S. squad. Strapping in the corner, Dave Snuggerud, local favorite out of the University of Minnesota. Donatelli leaving it for big Kevin Stevens. Now in behind the net, Donatelli, hard worker. And a centering pass, but nobody is there. Now the shot in on Moog, and he's able to make the save. As the Americans put the pressure on, Vilgrave now scrapping for it. Now to the point, Laviolette shot off the screen and a save, and out in front. And it was Stevens who was unable to get his stick on the puck.
And now we should point out that the power play ended some time ago.
But Moog and Team Canada equal to the task, maintaining a 1-0 advantage. And a penalty coming up. The second one, penalty coming up with 10:34 to play in the period. Right back after this message.
26 White holding.
Sometimes you feel a little Mexican. And when you feel a little Mexican, come to Chi-Chi's and create your own Mexican dinner. Choose a taco, a taquito, cheese enchilada, a burro or chimichanga. An entire feast of any two plus appetizer and dessert, just $7.25. Chi-Chi's, when you feel a little Mexican.
You know, it almost appears at this stage of the game that the team that can dominate territorially, playing the other team's end, is going to get their share of chances. That's exactly what Team USA was doing here. I could have sworn the power play was still on, but they were simply all over Team Canada in their zone. And Peter Laviolette has all he can handle back here behind his own net and is off for holding, tripping. Not sure what the call is, but it doesn't really matter.
2 minutes for holding, coming with 10:34 to play in the first period. Zalapsky is out at the point. This is Bradley. He's playing at the moment on Canada's #1 line. And out in front, and it was Wally Schreiber who couldn't get the shot away, and the U.S. able to clear it out to center ice. Picked up there by Zarley Zalapsky. He pushes it up ahead, but it's taken away by Tony Granato. Bradley now with it. And Canada having a difficult time getting started from the neutral zone and shot in by Team USA, and the Canadians come back the other way. 1 minute and 10 seconds now left in the penalty. Leach. One Leach to the other, but kept in by Boisvert.
Down low, down low.
Yaremchuk can't get the shot away. And then the shot goes wide off the stick of Boisvert. Zalapsky out at the point, can't control, and the U.S. able to clear it back to center ice with 40 seconds remaining in the penalty. Yaremchuk shooting it in behind the U.S. net. Ronning has to bring it back out to Trent Yawney. Slap shot is blocked by Steve Leach. So the U.S. very effectively killing the penalty, and a penalty coming up on Canada. Chris Felix, number 23, will be sent off for 2 minutes with 8:57 to go in the first period.
Well, you know the bad news.
Charlie Carlson is in the meeting of his life, and his shirt is perfectly dry. But that doesn't mean he smells good. Because underarm odor isn't visible, he needs total protection. Sure Solid.
If everyone would take a look.
Sure not only helps protect against wetness, it actually kills bacteria that cause odor. So, Charlie, why go to work with a dry shirt and a false sense of security? Use Sure Solid and be just as sure about odor as you are about wetness.
Your contributions mean so very much to the furthering of hockey in the United States, the Amateur Hockey Association of the United States, and you can make your contribution by calling 1-800-253-4000. USA Hockey, and right now just a month away from the opening of the Winter Olympics in Calgary at the Saddle Dome. The United States on February 13th will be taking on Austria. And that will get things started. Here, 1-0 in favor of Canada. Each team with a man in the penalty box, but in just 8 seconds, the U.S. will have a man advantage after Felix had gone off for 2 minutes for holding. And now the U.S. on the power play for the next 1:30. Brown with it. Brown skating all the way in, and Andy Moog makes the juggling save with 1:19 remaining in the power play. And a little scuffling just outside the net, where these two teams were new acquaintances, having met 5 times already in pre-Olympic competition. Each team has won 2, and there's been 1 tie.
And you know, they are very similar teams as well, Al. They both skate very well. That is something that Dave Peterson and Art Berglund said 3 years ago. They announced and proclaimed that Team USA would not be outskated in 1988 in Calgary, and they have assessed 700 to 800 players over the last 3 years, and that is the big asset that Team USA has, is skating. Canada skates well as well. They're hard-working teams. They're well-conditioned teams. I think they will both probably have a little trouble finishing, scoring, more so even Team USA than Team Canada. But the nod and experience hockey-wise, not internationally, but hockey-wise, goes to Team Canada. They have 11 players that have played in the National Hockey League at one time or another. Team USA really only has 2. We can stretch it and call Brad Jones a third, since he played 4 games with the Winnipeg Jets.
A minute remaining in the U.S. power play. This is Granato to Fusco. He sends it back to Leach at the point. And the shot, and the deflection goes in. It's Tony Granato off the deflection, tying the game.
What a tough spot, Al, for Andy Moog to be in, but Tony Granato played it right. He just shot it. It ended up being a slow shot coming to the net. Moog can do nothing except wait. It had to be frustrating, knowing that he couldn't get out to it quickly enough and that Granato was going to get a piece of it. Scott Young takes the shot. The key is that he makes it a deflectable shot, a nice low shot. One of the Team Canada players that was out in front of Scott Young got a piece of it to slow it down. That created the problem for Andy Moog. Tony Granato chopped it between his legs and tied it up.
So the U.S. and Canada 1-1 now, with 7:48 to play in the first period. We're at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. First of 5 5 remaining meetings between these two teams. And again, Saturday, we'll be with you at 2 o'clock Eastern time from Detroit as the U.S. takes on Canada. Young up ahead to Okerlund. Now Millen skates in, but offside on the left wing was Granado. So a 1-1 tie, and we'll be back right after this message.
Get ready.
Period in Bloomington, Minnesota. United States scoring to tie the game with under 8 minutes to play in the period. Granado on the power play with Brian Leach and Scott Young getting the assists at 12-12. So Steve Leach now shooting it in. Andy Moog leaving it behind the net for Chris Felix. And the U.S. forechecking, and the shot is saved by Moog. Off the stick of McDonald. And with Fusco and McDonald in along the boards. There's a look at stoppage of play.
Scott Fusco, and he has become one of the dynamic members of this team. You mentioned earlier, Al, that he's one of 2 holdovers from 1984. Had just a fabulous career at Harvard and has really anchored the power play and has been a guy to lean on for a lot of the younger kids on this Team USA squad. So he will be, I think, leaned on more and more as they get closer to Calgary, and we're only a month away because he has been there before. And if there's anybody that can settle perhaps one of the younger kids down, it's a guy like Scott Fusco or Corey Millen, since they've been there before.
It's interesting that neither player remaining from that 84 team scored a goal in Sarajevo. Fusco, no goals, had 3 assists. And Corey Millen didn't have a point in Sarajevo, but right now he's the leading scorer on the pre-Olympic tour. So 4 years will make a little bit of a difference in terms of where you rank on your squad. And the U.S. able to clear the zone. Defensive alignment with Brown. Up ahead to Brad Jones. And the Canadians with Yaremchuk in his own end. Coming up now as the United States changes on the fly. The Stevens Donatelli unit out there. Along with Johansson. This is Stevens. Johansson along the boards, out in front, and Donatelli's slap shot is blocked. Bradley now with it for Team Canada. Waver shoots it in weakly. Richter tries to clear it to the side. Young able to keep control of it, but offside was Team USA, and a whistle stops it with 5:36 to play in the period. Transformation for this fellow right here, Scott Young, now a defenseman.
It's kind of a tough transition too, Alan. It's going to be difficult for him on a large ice surface in Calgary. I spoke to him on an elevator, so it was only about a 30-second conversation, but we had enough time for him to tell me that the difficult time is when they are coming at him defensively. The transition from a defensive posture to an offensive posture is great. He loves it. Everything is in front of him. And when they're bearing down on him, that's when the difference shows up from having played forward almost all your life and not getting a chance to play defense regularly.
5:25 to play, first period. The United States and Canada meeting in Bloomington, Minnesota. Game tied 1-1. Millen with Okerlund. The U.S. keeping it in. Granado with Felix. Felix shooting it along the boards, and Canada able to clear it, but we'll have an icing call coming up here, the first of the game, as Guy Gosselin goes back to make the touch with 4:56 to play in the first period.
Well, the Pittsburgh Penguins are pretty anxious to get their hands on this young man, Zarley Zalapsky, who is the most talented defenseman on Dave King's team. He is 19 years of age and was the most valuable player, not at this past Izvestia in December, but the year before. He is a definite mainstay for Dave King, and he is going to have to just come up with another marvelous tournament at the Olympics. Make no mistake about it, the Canadians know, as do the Americans, that they are still long shots. In spite of the fact that Canada won the Izvestia, they relied heavily on Sean Burke and stole a couple of games over there, so it's still a long shot for both of these teams.
Leach's shot is wide off the rebound following the Andy Moog save. Liam McDonald passing back to Fusco, his longtime college teammate at Harvard, and now Canada coming back the other way with it. Berry has his shot blocked, and Leach goes down from the check of Mark Hampshire, and Canada scoring. It appeared to be Ken Berry, number 9, and Richter can only shake his head as the U.S. couldn't clear it out.
All kinds of problems in the most vulnerable area of the ice defensively, right in the slot. Nobody was able to get to Ken Berry quickly enough, but he did a great job, Al, of turning it around and shooting it. When it comes at you and you have to take it on your forehand, it's not as natural as if he were a right-hand shot there. Ken Berry knows his way around the ice surface and did a great job of directing it over Richter's right side and taking the lead here.
Berry's a guy with international, not only international experience, but an Olympian. You go all the way back to 1980 when he played on the Canadian Olympic team.
Right, then he spent 4 years with the Edmonton Oilers organization, so it's been 8 years that he is back as an Olympian for Team Canada.
This is Janney fighting for the puck. Snuggerud keeping it in. Janney again passes it back out to the point. Laviolette has it blocked, and back come the Canadians. Hampshire passing it up ahead to Berry, and a save by Richter. Cut down the angle, made the save to keep it at 2-1. Up ahead, Laviolette to Snuggerud, and it's Ronning who's able to intercept, and the Canadians able to shoot it back the other way. With 3.5 minutes to play in the first period. Canada on top by a score of 2-1. Nice drop passes. Leach can't control the puck, and he has it taken off his stick. Ronning now, and it's poked away. Guy Gosselin doing a nice job breaking up the 2-on-1. But Canada able to keep it in as Yaremchuk skates all the way around the net. Can't get the shot off. Out in front, slap shot off the stick of Zalapsky. Deflected toward the corner. Zalapsky. Leaving it for Ronning. Johansson gains possession momentarily and is able to get it up ahead to Kevin Stevens. Stevens now shooting it into the Team Canada end as the United States changes on the fly. 2.5 minutes to go in the period. Team Canada on top by a score of 2-1. This is Granado. Randy Gregg is the other number 21. 21 for Team Canada. Gregg questionable in terms of whether he'd be able to make the start tonight, as he's coming back from an injury. And the shot wide from the blue line. Rebound and the save. And then it's covered up by Bradley, and that stops it with 2:03 to play in the period. 2-1 Canada.
If your house feels like the South Pole, you can help chase the chill of winter with CertainTeed fiberglass insulation to keep your home warmer and help save on energy bills, all with CertainTeed. And now, you can also get a free stadium blanket by buying 10 or more packages of CertainTeed insulation. This winter, don't live at the South Pole. Instead, insulate your attic with CertainTeed and stay cozy inside and out.
Here's a chance for Team Canada with Ronning coming down, trying to get the puck over, only to have it stopped by Guy Gosselin. And Mike Richter, in spite of the fact that Team Canada's scored a couple of quick ones on him, has made a couple of excellent saves. I'm not sure that he didn't get a little help from his defenseman there, Greg Brown. It looked as if it might have hit Brown's leg, but just prior to that, he made an excellent save. Both teams have solid goaltending, and there's nothing that's more similar to playoff situations than the Olympics. You have to have absolutely wonderful, solid goaltending when you go into the Olympics, and both of these teams have the potential to have that in Calgary.
2-1 in favor of Team Canada. Bob Joyce unable to control. Hampshire is there. Laviolette can't get that out of the zone. Joyce again scrapping for it, along with Hampshire. And the United States having trouble clearing it. And Joyce doing a good job. And it's Joyce again with the puck. Taken out of the play by Young and Laviolette. But Canada continuing to keep the pressure on. And the slap shot is wide off the stick of Craig Redmond. With 1 minute and 6 seconds now to play in the first period. It comes back out to center ice. Up ahead and into the corner as both teams change on the fly. And this is Steve Leach coming out of his own end. Leach, his shot is partially deflected off the glass. He's able to keep it in. It's swept aside by Moe and Zalapsky. Able to take possession and get it up ahead to Bradley. Bradley into the U.S. zone, but taken away by Brian Leach. And back he comes with Janney. Janney leaves it for Leach, and a save by Andy Moe. He's able to kick it out with 25 seconds to play in the period. Snuggerud is in the corner, number 22, and it's attempted to be pinned against the boards by Zalapsky, but he is unsuccessful, and it comes skittering out towards center ice with 9 seconds now remaining in the first period, and taken away there by Wally Schreiber. He's ridden out of the play by Gosselin. Gosselin shoots it back behind his own net, and that will effectively kill off the remaining time here in the first period. So the United States back again against some top-level competition. Fell behind 1-0, able to tie the game on a power play goal by Tony Granato at 12-12, and then Berry scoring at 15:32 of the first period to make it 2-1, and it came that close to being tied here at the end of the first period as Andy Moe with the kick save able to sweep it away and keep Canada on top at the end of the first period.
Triple